am here in studio. I've got my top line here for the night before the 4th and the 4th. Starting right here on the left, we have Mark Thompson, of course, who is the police chief in Scituate. We've got Mark Donovan, who is the fire chief in Scituate. Michael Selva here, fire chief in Marshfield. And, of course, Phil Tavares, our longtime chief here in the town of Marshfield. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Our pleasure, Christine.
Well, it's the annual show that we do every year because we are going into the festivities for the night before the 4th and the 4th. The 4th of July this year, as probably everybody knows, it's a Friday night. So we're expecting a lot of people out, a lot of people having fun. And when you have people together, there's always a chance that you got to be careful about what's happening out there. So let's start right here in Marshfield. Phil Tavares, what do you folks have lined up for the night before the 4th and the 4th that people might notice it's a little bit different than what they usually see here in town?
Well, certainly we'll have extra staff on board. Usually on July 3rd, we have the entire police department working. The night of the 4th is usually quieter, but with the weather this year, we're keeping an eye on it, so we're not really sure how our staffing levels will be, but they will be extremely high on both days. We'll have officers on patrol, walking the beaches, on ATVs, checking out the beaches. We'll have the drone up flying over the beaches to make sure that nobody's stockpiling wood because bonfires and other than cooking fires are illegal here in Marshfield. If we discover any wood in any of those areas, we'll be working with the DPW. They'll bring a front-end loader down, take it with the dump truck away. We'll have people watching and monitoring public drinking, fireworks that are obviously illegal, and fires on the beach. But we'll have all hands on deck, and we'll be ready to go.
That sounds great. Now, in the town of Scituate, Mark Thompson, you're the police chief. You folks always work very closely with Marshfield to kind of keep everything organized in the general vicinity. Same plans as Marshfield, a little bit more?
Same plans, really. I mean, we're really mirroring a lot of what Marshfield does. And we work hand in hand, obviously, with Hummerock and Wrexham, so closely tied together. Mm-hmm. So we'll continue to keep that partnership up. And same thing, we're going to have a lot of additional staff on throughout the entire weekend. We always ramp up on the 3rd. And same thing, the weather's going to be great this year, so we'll monitor. And as Chief Tavares said, we'll have a lot of different assets out there, but both together we're also going to be on the water, too. So the river, the spit, all of our harbor, our waterways, we're working together with our partners there. So expect our presence to be more than just on the land. We'll be out on the water, too.
Wow, you guys are everywhere. I love that. Sort of like D-Day, but it's the 4th of July. Now, Mark Donovan, you're the fire chief in Scituate, and of course, as we know, fireworks here, unless they're handled by professionals, are illegal. Over the years, you've had to deal with some issues with that.
Yes, we talked about last year. The 3rd of July this year. This year, we send the same message out. Fireworks are illegal. They're extremely dangerous. 5 p.m. last July 3rd, we had already had one severe hand injury that required transportation to South Shore Hospital and subsequent surgeries to repair the hand and probably just probably permanent damage to the hand from fireworks. So we can't stress the importance of leaving the fireworks to the professional displays and not to take these things. You got to take these things seriously.
Absolutely. We were talking a little bit off air, and you brought up something that I've never mentioned on this show, which I didn't know about. Now, I see people that save those wood pellets. They're good to burn, and sometimes they hoard them before the 4th because they want to try to use that as some kind of kindling. And I assumed mistakenly that they're held together with nails. They're not held together with nails. They're held together with kind of a staple, and that's a whole other problem.
Yes, it's kind of the campaign I started. It's not okay to burn pallets. We only allow clean firewood to be burned with any type of fire pit at the home. We don't allow pallets, especially pallets, because many pallets are treated with chemicals to protect from insects and from rot. The nails are treated. Some of those are galvanized. They're long staples, and they can be harmful to marine life and to birds as well. So we don't want them on the beach. The burning pallets will give off toxic smoke if they're treated, and so we're just discouraging and not allowing pallets to be burned in
I
Situate.
was just thinking about my one experience stepping on my nephew's Legos. I imagine one of these staples would be a lot worse if that got in the heel of your foot. Now, here in Marshfield, I know that you guys are always really good about monitoring the beaches, making sure that people are not having bonfires and are not setting off fireworks. Michael Silva, you're the chief here in Marshfield. What else are you looking for out there?
Well, first of all, I have to be the one to recite this. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 148, Section 39, it's illegal for anybody to possess fireworks without a license. So, having said that, we know what's going to happen. So we try and mitigate what we can and make sure that people just are overall in a global fashion safe. We work real close with Chief Tavares and his team in coordinating anything that might come up. And we will have extra personnel on duty looking out for any illegal fires on the beaches. Like Chief Tavares said, it's illegal to burn on the beaches outside of cooking.
Now, you guys are, of course, responding to any medical emergencies, too, because you're the fire department. How do you handle people that are like excess drinking? How do you handle something like that? It's a holiday.
Sure.
Families are gathering.
Well, that's
it's
where
hot. One too many drinks.
Right, yeah, so that's where the coordination comes in with Chief Tavares and his team. We treat it as any other medical call we would have. Access is a big issue for us. We want to make sure the streets get crowded and we have access to homes, to fire hydrants. That's what we focus on.
Right. Now, Chief Tavares, you've mentioned that in the past. People come down, maybe they're relatives from out of town. They're not quite sure where to park. And then sometimes if they're parking in the wrong places, especially, it's tough to park here anyway. So how can you make sure that emergency vehicles get through?
Well, you're right. That is one of the biggest problems we have is the night of the 3rd, we expect approximately 100,000 people in town, and there isn't enough parking for it. So people will park on both sides of the street. They'll park wherever they can. But we'll have officers on patrol that will be looking for, hazards or obstructions in the roadways. And we'll run the license plates. We'll try to figure out who the vehicle belongs to and have the owner move it on their own. But if they can't, we're going to be left with no choice but to tow the vehicle because it's impeding public safety. We want to make sure that fire trucks and an ambulance can get through there.
Absolutely. Now, what about towns like, people think, oh, well, Hummerock, yeah, that's Situate. And those are narrow streets, and people go across that bridge. How do you handle that? Because that place is hopping on the 3rd and the 4th.
It is. And, it's the same thing as the chief just said in terms of obstructing public safety. We're going to have to tow a car. We'll make every best effort to get rid of people and get them out of the way. But I think that there's a partnership that we have to talk about here. That's a partnership between public safety, but it's the partnership with the community as well. We have a lot of house parties that go on. We've had a great shift, I think, over time, that this has become family friendly. We want people to come and enjoy the properties, enjoy what the towns have to offer. But we're looking for that partnership with the residents and the people that are there to kind of help us and police themselves and make sure that, like, hey, let's keep the public ways safe and let's give us access to get through there. So if we have that partnership together with them and we're all kind of working together, the idea is we're going to keep this safe and fun for everybody.
And Chief Donovan, I know, in the past, Situate had some pretty wild bonfires back in the day. I remember seeing like the whole coastline lit up with old Christmas trees and lots of other stuff. And now it's no bonfires. I think you're allowed to cook fire. And what are the parameters? What is a cook fire?
A 3-foot diameter, 16 inches in height campfire. And I have to echo Chief Thompson's statements that having worked on this for decades, it's really nice to go out early in the evening and interact with the community and seeing family events. And a lot of this it's nice to see a lot of this has shifted from more of a wild party atmosphere to more family events and to meet generations of families and just going out in the community. A lot of times, like Chief Tavares said, parking can be a real concern, but a lot of times we'll go out to make sure we have roadways clear for access, and people will go out of their way to help you and move their vehicles, and allowing neighbors to park on guests to park on their property, and so we just really want this to continue as a family event. Small fires.
Do you need a permit?
No permit.
Okay, I wasn't
No
sure.
permit.
Wasn't
just
sure.
follow the rules.
Absolutely. And Chief Tavares, I know sometimes a lot of our listeners will call and say, well, they're busy out there. We hear this during the year round too, especially a lot of our older listeners, and they'll say, we don't want to bother the police and the fire. It's not really an emergency. And maybe it is. So what do you tell people that are hesitant about calling you?
We're going to have plenty of people working. We take every complaint seriously. We encourage the public to call. That's what we're here for. We're public servants. And if they need us, no call is too small. Give us a call.
Hey, did you just think of that?
Yes, I did.
That's pretty good. Again, we had so glad all the chiefs could come in here today. Mark Thompson from Scituate, Mark Donovan from Scituate. Do you have to be a Mark to be a chief? I just realized that. I like that.
It's not in writing yet.
Okay.
That's only in Scituate.
Why, thank you. And of course, Michael LaSelva here in Marshfield and Phil Tavares. Any last comments, gentlemen?
We're just looking forward for everybody to come out and have fun. But we don't have any sanctioned events in town. So if you're coming to town, it is come and enjoy, but be responsible.
Absolutely. Chief Tavares?
Sure. It's a fun, family-friendly event. We encourage people to do that, to have fun, do it safely, celebrate, but we won't tolerate operating under the influence of alcohol. And we know that Hummerock's always busy this time of the year, so if Scituate ever wants to release it to the town of Marshfield, we'd be happy to take it.
Oh, I think I see some seceding action going on here. Mark
I'd be
Donovan?
more than happy to sublet it to you during the winter months.
Michael LaSelva, any last comments here?
3rd of July is a unique date in this area, and when I was younger, I like to partake in a lot of it, and it's a great time to make memories as long as everybody stays safe, and it should be a good night.
Absolutely. And of course, we wish everybody to stay safe. We're going to pop this interview up online as well. Thanks for all the chiefs for coming in here. I'm Christine James, 95.9 WATD, 95.9 WATD.